This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening and welcome to the Alpena City Council meeting of July 6, 2021. I'll call the order, please.
Councilwoman Hess. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Here.
Councilman Mitchell.
Excused, please.
Excused. Councilman Nowak.
Yes. Here.
Mayor Willigor.
Here. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. When you're ready.
Councilwoman Hess. Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Yes.
Mitchell is excused. Councilman Nowak.
Yes.
Mayor Willigor.
Modifications to the agenda this evening. I have one under the consent agenda, item F. It says services agreement fiscal year 22. I would just simply like to add the title of the service agreement. So it would say Target Services Agreement here in Humane Society and Thunder Bay Arts Council, just for clarity. Any other modification? No, I move we approve that modification.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell. Oh, sorry. He's excused. Councilman Nowak.
Yes.
Mayor Willigor.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hess. Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you. Next up is citizens appearing before council on agenda and non-agenda items are allowed 5 minutes each to address your concerns. This is the only time during tonight's meeting we're allowed to address council. I will start with anyone that's here in the room that's live. If you'd like to come, please come to the podium and state your name and address for our records. Seeing no one, anybody in the virtual world? All right, thank you. Oh, sorry. One of those nights. I'm going to back up just briefly. Approval of the minutes for regular and closed sessions of June 21st, 2021. Any issues or changes? So, there's no public hearing, so the consent agenda is A, bills to be allowed in the amount of $639,982.15. B is budget amendment request to reduce the sewer fund balance by $2,296 in fiscal year 2022 for administrative charges. C is a budget amendment request to reduce the general fund balance by $7,191 in fiscal year 2022 for computer admin services. D is a budget amendment request to carry forward funds from fiscal year 21 to fiscal year 22, $45,000 for a patrol vehicle and related equipment. E is the approval of a noise variance for Joe's Bar located at 1300 Ford Avenue for July 10th, 2021 from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. And F is a services agreement fiscal year 22, and that is for Target Alpena here in Humane Society and Thunder Bay Arts Council.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Councilman Nowak.
Yes.
Mayor Willigor.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hess. Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Unfinished business is the second reading of Ordinance 21-460, which amends the Code of Ordinances to include the addition of Chapter 12 for Blight. Bill Pfeifer, I'll turn that over to you, sir.
This is not read unless council would wish me to read it, but I can highlight just quickly the changes that were suggested at the first reading. And that would be on page 4 under item number 6B. We added deteriorating to that sentence. And then I believe it was 6F regarding peeling or chipped paint. We took that out of there because we thought it might create more issues than it solved. And then council wanted section 12.6 regarding notice of violation modified so that it was clear that after the first offense notice, there could be additional time granted to the property owner, and that subsequent violations would not require another written notice. So those were the changes that were suggested at the first reading. And so at this point, if council is comfortable with it, we simply need to vote yea or nay.
Any discussion or issues?
Well, and I guess I got an email. Did I forward it? I think I forwarded it to everyone. There was a complaint about when people put things on the curb, about how long can they set there before they violate any of this. Is that covered in here? Like if somebody throws a couch and a chair and a dresser out there.
It says free on it, but it says for, I believe that we already cite people after 48 hours.
Give people 2 days. That's covered under other things in the code of ordinances. You know, under 78, that would be improper disposal. So that's generally the timeline. You know, you see it there, it's free, it looks pretty good, it's not raining out. The next day it's still there, it's raining, it's not looking good, nobody's taking a door hanger with 48 hours to get it out of it.
Okay.
And sometimes if it's just absolute junk, then they'll leave the door hanger right away. Some things people aren't going to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not so clear in this one because it's covered under 78.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm good.
Okay, no questions here. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the ordinance.
I move we approve 21-460, I'm sorry, no, Blight ordinance 21-460.
Second.
Councilman Noah,
Yes.
Mayor Walagore.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hess. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up is new business. First is Lafarge Corporation MARAD Port Infrastructure Development Program. And Shannon Smolinski, the Harbormaster, is here today.
In March 21, Lafarge Corporation, Holcomb USA Incorporated approached the city of Alpena for assistance with a grant application for improvements to the loading dock facilities located within their plant. Lafarge is proposing dredging, demolition of the Wyandotte Stone Dock, storage building number 2, new mooring, new roof, and expansion of the bulk storage building, and security upgrades as part of the $5 million project. Due to the nature of the project, Fourth Infrastructure and Environmental LLC, the consulting engineer for the Lafarge, has indicated to Lafarge that a reasonable chance of qualifying for the U.S. Department of Transportation, Maritime Administration Port Infrastructure Development Program is possible due to the plant's location and infrastructure produced. As part of the overall improvements, Lafarge is willing to open the new facilities to others in need, benefiting the whole community. Supporting this project will also support the continued success of Lafarge, which will benefit the community as Lafarge Holcomb is one of the largest employers in the area, with additional citizens being employed by area vendors utilized by the corporation. One stipulation of the grant that is, if it is awarded, it needs to be awarded to a government such as the city of Alpena. Other than acting as the applicant, the city would also need to act as the fiduciary for the project. Lafarge will be funding the project completely, including all the consulting, construction, and oversight engineering. According to Froth, who is familiar with these types of grant projects, the city's oversight time needed to complete their portion of the fiduciary obligations is negligible and mostly will focus on preparing paperwork to be submitted as part of the project. Froth has experience working with corporations and governmental entities and can help facilitate a contract between the city and Lafarge to protect the city from any liability associated with the project. Because of its benefits to the city, its citizens, I recommend as Harbormaster for the city of Alpena that council approve the city acting as the applicant and if awarded, aiding in the administration of the U.S. Department of Transportation, Maritime Administration's Port Infrastructure Development Program by approving the attached resolution of support.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shannon. I think we discussed this a little bit at a meeting earlier, so this isn't completely new.
I think you were at that meeting with.
Oh, I was at a different
Everybody
meeting.
was there.
Okay, I got my meetings confused, so it is relatively new to some, I'm sorry. Anybody have any questions for Shannon or about the project? Or
I had some questions I asked Steve, but they were answered. You know, about supporting documentation coming after.
Did I send here a timeline? You know, is it starting, if approved within the next 5 years, 2 years, a year?
They have to wait for this funding. My understanding is it's rolling funding. So it's a matter of when it's approved and if it's going to be approved. And then the minute they have the call for projects, Bob and Lafarge want to be ready to present, which includes us having this resolution that we will support it and act as the applicant for them on their behalf.
No other questions?
seems like a good partnership.
I have a question. This, you said it's willing to open the new facilities to others in need. Can you give any examples of whether maybe you was talking about another meeting of what other dockage or unloading needs might be met?
Any other kind of materials that we need a deep work to come in and unload,
Like salt, for example?
salt, for example.
Or a cruise ship? Could it be something that a cruise ship could have?
It's kind of, do you really want to take people into that?
All right, why is one? I'm curious. I
Industrial.
mean, I agree. I think it's great for their business and their business in our community. I think, it doesn't matter. I was just curious of other applications.
There were
Yeah.
other application. It is part of the agreement as far as them actually applying for the grant, is that it has to be open, not just to their corporation, but to others as well that would benefit from
So
it.
it's actually part of, okay, good to know. Yeah, I think it's a good project.
I move we support resolution number 2021-15.
Support.
Mayor Walagora.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hess.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Yes.
And Councilman Noah.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And next up is City of Alpena Marina Community Impact Grant. Shannon as well.
The new direction and focus of council and staff, we have started the revitalization of the city of Alpena Marina. This year's focus is addressing several critical issues outlined in the Harbor Advisory Committee, the marina users and city staff. One ongoing issue is the old lights on site. Due to their age, we're experiencing ongoing issues with the system. To help address these issues, the city has budgeted money this fiscal year to start lighting upgrades for the marina. The city has explored options to replace the older light poles with new LED street lights on the break wall for several years. The upgrades have been included in several grant requests with no success. With the recent attention towards dark skies shielded lighting, staff explored options for incorporating this concept into the break wall walkway upgrades. The existing high-profile lights can be replaced with lower bollards, which will provide with appropriate shielding, which will allow people the option of enjoying the view without the bulkier poles interfering. This concept was presented to the Harbor Advisory Committee for their input. After discussion with the committee, they agreed and approved the concept and suggested changes. To accomplish our goal, we would like to pursue a community impact grant to aid with the cost of the new bollard style lighting on the walkway. The current round of grants is due July 15th. We would like to request $5,000 from the Community Foundation, with the city committing the already budgeted $15,000 for marina light pole replacement. It is therefore my recommendation to council to approve the submittal of the community impact grant for the replacement of the walkway lighting, and if awarded, authorized to utilize the $15,000 for marina light pole replacement to match to complete the project.
All right, excellent. I think it's good.
I think so. I think, I agree with both of you, and then the fact that any and all improvements that we can do down in that particular area, and I know there's already been a lot of work since, going on, even when Don was here with just dock improvements and so on. I like the idea of a little bit darker skylight. There's been a couple of places here in town that it's very bright, and some of the newer LEDs that was brightening up so much so that we're wondering if you could. It was just you neighbors I thought were going to be bothered by it, but so I think this is a really good thing for us as well. So
Shannon, can I ask, is there a plan B if we don't get the grant money?
Plan B is to go back to Harbor Advisory. My suggestion at that point in time to them would probably be to go into the parking lot proper and change those heads out for LED lighting at that point in time. One thing we did discuss during the Harbor meeting is maybe if this funding doesn't go through, we're going to approach Alpena Power because we're doing some high efficiency lighting upgrades. We may qualify for a reimbursement from them, which may help us be able to complete the project that way. Or Rich also suggested breaking it into a multi-year project if need be.
Good job.
And Rich is who? Do we know that?
My former boss.
Is that true, Stuart? Said the new guy.
Thank you, Shannon. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
excellent work, excellent work.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah, of course.
What are dark skies shielded lighting?
What they do is opposed to shining up, you shield them so they shine down on the walkway so people can still see where they're going, but you can look up and see the stars and the night sky and stuff like that.
Thank you.
And we need to approve that as well.
So move.
Second.
Councilwoman Hess,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Noah,
Yes.
and Mayor Walagora.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I move we adjourn to closed session to discuss the proposed litigation with Alpena Biorefinery LLC, American Process Incorporated, and Grand Bio LLC.
Second.
Oh, right.
You had a preemptive second.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Noah,
Yes.
Mayor Walagora.
Aye.
And Councilwoman Hess.
Yes.
Motion carried.
By the way, Mr. Mayor, you were,
So did anybody adjourn yet? No.
We're gonna just wait till Steve.
Oh, he's gonna.
I move we adjourn.
Second.